Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone Talks. You're probably wondering why there is no contact tonight. Yeah, I've decided to move contact around now. I might put contact on a Monday night or during the week because we are going to obviously. There's been a lot of Doctor Who stuff floating about. There's a lot of articles floating about. So I've decided to bring back the TARDIS Zone Talks to talk about all of these things. And I have I have two interesting articles to bring up. I was going to take the night off, but after I wrote up the tweet, I was actually sitting here and, it's a cold one tonight. But there was nothing really on the TV or something I didn't really want to do. And Cheryl's actually in the middle of watching Cobra Kai at the moment. So I said, feck it, I'll go live, do another late night stream because the last one did very well. So I said, why not go live a bit later? We get some of the American audience in as well because some of our American friends do miss me streams and catch up because, we stream a little bit early for those guys. So we used to stream between 9 and 10 o'clock back in the day, and it used to be very successful. So I am looking at doing a lot more late night streams as well with just myself talking about stuff that's going on. And maybe now, because, we've got the panels and all, maybe bring on a guest or two, maybe. But most of the streams will be just myself talking about these stuff because I know a few people have actually talked to me backstage and, on messages and said, no, we do miss you doing streams. Could you do a few more? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to, because obviously when I started off, obviously it was just me talking all the time. And then obviously as we went on, we've gained more of a following, and of course, me, very open on this channel. We give anybody a platform, obviously that obviously is behaves themselves and stuff like that. We've got some lovely panelists and people that have YouTube channels that we bring on. But I'm going to be doing more of these streams because I know people do miss them, and I actually do miss doing them myself because when I'm on a panel, obviously, you have to try your best to give everybody as much time as possible and not, sometimes I have done it. I'm getting better at it, of course. When you bring guests on, you want your guests to do the talking really, then you to kind of take a back seat. It's very hard sometimes, because I'm very opinionated, as you all know. So, I'm getting better at that. But yeah, I'll do a few more of these streams, folks. So I hope the people that were texting me, I hope you are all happy. Because I have to admit, I have missed, we have a lot of panels going on and stuff like that, and some of them eventually will come to an end and stuff, and we'll be able to do a lot more then of these type of streams as well in the meantime, So well, there hasn't been really much going on in Hollywood except for, I'll just bring it up, the Minnie Mouse thing. So Stella McCarthy apparently has designed a pantsuit for Minnie Mouse. Now, if I'm reading it correctly, it's only for the anniversary, but still, I will say this. What's Minnie Mouse and that polka dot dress with the bow on her head is iconic. You can't all of a sudden now start changing these things because, someone out there might be offended because Minnie Mouse is wearing a skirt. I mean, this is how ridiculous all this nonsense is. I mean, there's more important things going on in the world right now. What about the re-educational camps, as they call them in China? Why isn't Disney, caring or worried about that? When they have a deal with China, would you not like, put pressure on the Chinese government for what they're doing over there? No? Instead, you want to kind of like, change a design of Minnie Mouse and put her in a pantsuit because you want to pander to some people. Like, will you leave it? Will you leave it out? As I said, even the M&M's thing, even Cheryl was saying, there's more important things in the world to be worried about than worrying about whether your M&M's are inclusive or not. At the end of the day, they're chocolate. Like, do you know what I mean? It's chocolate. Like, get over it. There's more important things to be actually worried about. There are injustices going on in the world right now, right? And Disney has made deals with certain countries that have a bad reputation, and yet they're worried about Minnie Mouse in a polka dot skirt because it sends out apparently the wrong message. So that's the only huge, real big thing. Really, there is some Amber Heard stuff as well, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But nothing massive really. Obviously, there's still a buzz over Spider-Man's latest movie, and there's been a couple of interviews have dropped as well. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to be vague here because me and the wife haven't sat down to watch it yet. Because we watched Cheryl was watching Ghostbusters Afterlife, so we watched that instead, and then she got into Cobra Kai, so she's been watching that. So when that's over, we're gonna watch it, so she doesn't know what's going on in it, so say nothing. Just in case she pops in to the chat. But yeah, that's really it. So anyway, it doesn't matter. No Way Home, yeah. I keep getting confused, but anyway, so I seen these two articles that I'm about to read to you on Twitter. I'd seen someone else from the other side had posted them, and the only reason why I knew is because there's someone that follows me that was responding, and they posted up this interesting article, which I'm going to show you. And then also the One Show, because for the centenary celebrations that, 100 years of the BBC, they've been reflecting on old TV shows. So they got the One Show viewers to vote for their favorite TV show as well. So we're going to look at those articles. Also, the lists are there as well. So what I want you guys in the chat to do to get involved is, obviously, while we'll do the first one first. Okay, we'll go through the list, see where they all line up. So we'll do the every doctor ranked first. We'll do that list first. We'll start with number one and work our way down to the bottom. You guys in the chat then will let me know whether you agree with the placing of each doctor or where you think they should be personally. Now, what I want you to do as well, guys, right, to make this a bit more interactive. So then next week, then what I'll do is I'll go into the comment section and get your list. So what I want you guys to do after the stream goes up is to go into the comment section and compile your list 1 to 13 where they rank with you guys. Yeah. So while you are chatting in the chat, giving you suggestions and saying where they should be, give us your complete list in the comment section later on. Not in the live chat, because I won't, obviously I'll see it in the live replay, but put it in the comment section so I can actually go through everybody's comments and read out your lists. That's if you want your name. And if you want your name not to be mentioned while giving your list, you let me know in that comment. If you don't mind your name being shouted out on the channel, giving your list of your 1 to 13, where they place best doctor to the worst doctor. Let me know in the comments section. Right, let's start this off, and we'll start off with this. So, this is a public vote, by the way. So, Shortlist. I don't know who these even are. I think this is the first time I've actually seen them. So they got the public. You can clearly see it's a public vote as we go down. So there's no way that this. What I'm trying to say is that obviously it's a big voting thing. It can't be it can't be rigged, right? So basically, they've left it there for everybody to vote. So the voting system looks like an arrow up and an arrow down sort of situation. I had a brief look at this article, obviously. So every Doctor Who ranked, who is the best Doctor Who? Who is the best Doctor Who? Have your say. Now, I think this poll is still open as we speak. So this is by Simon Brew, and the article was put up on the 24th of January 2022. Who is the best Doctor Who? It's a question that gets asked a lot to date. There have been 13 actors who have taken on the main role of the Doctor in Doctor Who. Well, sort of. Just to confuse matters, there are a few others who have done so on top of that core 13, including but not restricting Peter Cushing in the pair of feature films, Richard Horndal, I can never say his name properly, John Hurt, and a host of other people, including Joanna Lumley for a charity special. Yeah, we get that. And then he obviously briefly, he updated the article. So he's obviously talking about that David Tennant rumor that's going around there. As I said, all these articles are in the link description. So I'm not going to go through them all, but I will be going through the list now. So that's all I'm going to read of that article. So here is the list. So the best Doctor Who, and in the number 1 spot, so it shows you the votes, by the way, here. So this is why I'm saying it can't be rigged. Well, I mean, people can go in and try. I think you can only vote once. I'm not 100% sure how they do it, but if it is, so as you can see there, he's number 1 on the list, and he got 1,068 upvotes and 333 downvotes. Matt Smith comes second in this list. Now, obviously, I'm going to give me your opinion. So David Tennant, I'm not too surprised of, but it's always really between him and Tom Baker. But as I'm a purist, I'm going to say Tom Baker should really realistically top that list. Matt Smith comes second in this list. So he got 933 votes, upvotes, I should say, and he got 385 downvotes, and he came second in that list. Tom Baker came third. Now, in fairness for me, either Tom is first or second, or David is first or second. So it's a little bit. But Tom Baker third in this list. 770 upvotes and 295 downvotes. Now, I don't know actually if you can all still vote on that. So while I'm reading these out, why don't you guys, because as I said, it's in the link description there. If you just want to go in and see if you can place a vote. And obviously genuinely pick your favorite, don't pick one for the sake of picking one. Pick your favorite Doctor. So Christopher Eccleston comes fourth in that list, which for me, I would have to disagree with that. He's only got 1 series, but it is a good series. But he got 746 upvotes, and he got 304 downvotes. So he actually got less downvotes than Matt Smith and David Tennant. But He got more than Tom Baker. Peter Capaldi, fifth. He got 794 upvotes and 361 down votes. And then in sixth place, we have John Pertwee. And he got 476 votes to 200 upvotes, I should say, to 255 down votes. We've also got Patrick Troughton in seventh place. He got 444 upvotes, 256 downvotes. I don't know if I agree with this list so far, but I've noticed so far 8 places in, and there's still no sign of everybody's popular so-called doctor right now. Number 8 is William Hartnell. He got 392 upvotes and 273 down votes. But how does he not finish ahead of Troughton? Now the reason why I say that is because Troughton has a lot of missing stories. Yet they've animated some, but you think that would be the other way around. But respectable. The doctor that was obviously around when I was a kid, Peter Davison, finishes 9th in this list. He got 359 upvotes, but he got a 312 downvotes. Wow. And still no sign of Whitaker yet. Wow, I wonder what her votes are. Jesus Christ, man. So Paul McGann, number 10, he got 372 upvotes and he got 325 downvotes. Wow, that's... Sylvester McCoy at number 11. He got 361 upvotes, but he got 349 downvotes. Colin Baker, wow, now that's so, which means if Colin Baker is 12, we already know the result here. But let's see, because this is startling. These downvotes for Colin Baker are actually very bad, but his upvotes. So upvotes he got 327, but his downvotes were more with 417. So which means if his downvotes are more than his upvotes, Jodie Whittaker's downvotes must be actually really bad. Right, let's see. So in last place on this list, the doctor that most so-called fans would call the best and our era is closest to the classic and all of this rubbish, Jodie Whittaker finishes last in this list, and she's got a staggering 5. So they have up the upvotes, right? But the fact that she's gotten more downvotes is why she finishes low on this list. So she got 548 upvotes, but she's got a staggering 686 downvotes. So she got more votes than all of the doctors. Troughton got close. Oh no, Peter Capaldi got 794. Okay. But still. Okay, but she got more high votes than some of the doctors that finished ahead of her. But because her down votes were more, it drags her down to the bottom of the list. Do you agree with that list, folks? As I said, let me know. And as I said, get into that comment section and let me know if you agree or disagree, and give me your own list. But yeah, man. Look, I'm surprised at some of the places of some of the doctors. I'm surprised that Jodie Whittaker finishes last. Finishes bottom with Baker and what was it, Sylvester McCoy. Not really. That's the way it actually should be. Because that is the trend. It is bad. It doesn't matter what the other side say. It is bad. And I've noticed anytime they put her in a vote and the other side do try and rig the vote. But what they don't realise is, yeah, there's so many of yous, but the British public, this is a public vote. Then they're never going to be able to rig a poll like that, because the British public will vote. Because even the casual viewers have their own favorite doctor and will vote. So yeah, so there you go. As I said, you know, put your list in the comment section later on. Let me know if you agree with that list. Maybe, as I said, it's in the link description. Maybe take a look at that list again while you're composing your own list and see where it differs. We'll read out your list then next week. Right, let's get into this next one. So the one show, obviously the centenary celebrations are well underway on the BBC leading up to the main event. And the one show asked their viewers to tell them what their favourite show was. And we've got a result. We've got a result again. I'm not going to read this whole article. The article is in the link description. We're more concerned about the list itself, where the shows actually ended up. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up, so Only Fools and Horses crowned the best BBC show. Doctor Who came second. Now, why do I want to actually bring that up when they were casting their votes on other shows? I don't really care about the other shows that were in this. The reason why I wanted to bring up this was because I do believe personally that that Doctor Who probably would have finished in first place if the Whittaker era didn't exist. Only Fools and Horses is an iconic show, but and I love it myself. So either way, I'm actually happy because Only Fools and Doctor Who 1 and 2, either of those switched around. But Faulty Towers should definitely be up further the list. There's no way that Strictly Come Dancing beats Faulty Towers, Blackadder, Dad's Army. Definitely not beating Dad's Army. It's not beating Sherlock either. So some of these, Blue Peter finished last. Like, now I don't know what Blue Peter is like nowadays, but I remember watching Blue Peter, and it was a great show. So I can't believe that that's actually finished there. I'm surprised that the British public have voted on Top of the Pops, considering some of their slimy presenters, and it ended up there. There was any justice, Top of the Pops would actually be last. It is a great show, and don't get me wrong, the other presenters, I suppose, should be punished for the behaviour of some, but still, some of that list, to me, begs the question what kind of people were voting for this, because look, Doctor Who, for me, this is be my list. Doctor Who, Faulty Towers, Only Fools and Horses. That would be my top 4. Let me see. What would be my top 5? I put probably Sherlock there myself personally, because I do love that show, even though it got ridiculous near the end. I did love that show. So that would be my top 5 list. As for the rest, Morecambe and Wise show, yeah, watch that with the parents, back in the day. Blackadder, watched it, but wasn't really my cup of tea. I know that's controversial to say. Gavin and Stacey, I've watched a couple of episodes of Call the Midwife as well. It's not bad. Strictly same thing as well. Looks a lot of fun, but still. Planet Earth 1 and 2, David Attenborough. You can't beat that, I have to say. And I did grow up with Top of the Pops, but look, yeah, that's my list. But I do believe though, if Doctor Who hadn't have been, if this current era hadn't existed. Um, I would actually like to see the percentage of people that voted, because I think it'd probably be a lot closer. Doctor Who. That's just my personal opinion. That's why I just wanted to bring it up, to have a little debate, see what you guys think. But I think if the Whittaker era or the Chibnall era didn't exist, this would be the opposite way around. But if it was a true list, I mean, I don't know who's voting on this, because in reality, maybe Faulty Tower should be first. Um, and maybe Only Fools and Horses should be second, and Doctor Who should be third. In reality, maybe. But yeah, a bit of a weird. I don't know. I mean, the one show viewers. I mean, I've watched that show a couple of times when it used to be good, and then it started veering off. But again, if you just want to give you our own top five, you don't have to go through every single bloody show. But again, in the comment section, while you're leaving your top 13 Doctor list, if you want to do that one as well, and give me your top five British TV shows that were on the BBC, BBC One, I should say, let me know. So yeah, give me your list and stuff. But interesting enough, I have to say. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. So we'll push the chat all the way up. Let's see. Right, this laptop's doing my head in. Why is it every time I give it a clean down, it starts acting all weirdy? Like I cleaned it up. Right, let's see what you guys are saying. So we'll start. Where did the Yeah, I was gonna take the night off, but as I said, there was nothing to really do. Cheryl's watching Cobra Kai. I've only finished it again, so she's watching it. There was nothing on really on the telly. I was gonna do a bit of gaming, but then I just wasn't feeling up to it. So I said, feck it, I'll do a stream. So John says Whittaker is divided. You could say that again. I'm thinking that list makes sense to me, says Cyber Match Strikes. Good to see Tom Baker holding third, considering it was a 40-50 years ago, says Cyberman Strikes. I agree, actually. It's always between him and David. Anyway, I'm just, I like Matt Smith's Doctor. We're currently doing these watch-alongs on the channel. And I do like his Doctor, and I do think he's underrated. But is he really second place Doctor? Uh, Familiar with about half of these shows, says TARDIS Spider. Faulty Tower should be top three, man, says Daniel. Doctor Who, Blackadder, Faulty Towers, and Dad's Army for TARDIS Spider. Sherlock was never in my top 10. I never connected with it, sadly, says Daniel. Tennant would win it because he was there at the time when the show was popular, says John. Yeah, I mean, look, the longer I live, the more I think Patrick Troughton is number one, says Scott. Um, I'm liking, I'm liking Troughton's Doctor quite a lot. It's just such a pity that a lot of his stories may never they're doing animations, but now at the moment, obviously, as we know about the animation news right now, they're probably put on hold for a while. But even the animations are a poor substitute to the actual recording of these episodes. So, I do believe if his episodes were available I reckon he would rank higher up most people's lists. And you could be right. He could be up there in the top three anyway. Definitely. Um, because of course animations don't really show us what it was like when it was filmed live at the time, and what his facial expressions were like, his body movements, the way he actually acted on camera. Animation can't pick that up. So, you know, while the animations are a decent substitute, they'll never be good enough because we don't have the real thing. I'm still partial to Tom Baker, says Captain Robert April. Here in the US, public broadcast television was our only BBC for decades. Thank goodness for BitBox and Acorn, says says Tardis Spider. John says he thinks Peter Davison was unfairly rated in the votes. Yeah, Peter Davison always gets a bit of stick because obviously his era starts off in the 80s, doesn't it? Or it's the yeah. So the 80s is always tarnished, and I think he is. I agree with you. I think he does get unfairly tarnished. I mean, his era is actually quite solid. You mightn't be everybody's cup of tea for the Doctor, or people might have had their problems with him at the time, but uh, his era was pretty solid. I'm not saying he doesn't have bad stories. Every Doctor does. Even William Hartnell had bad stories. Troughton had bad stories. Even Pertwee did. They all did. You know, but they had mostly, they were most of the stories were fantastic. So you're not always going to get um, everything perfect. Um, Peter Davison was following Tom Baker. Enough said. Yeah, it's a hard act to follow as well. In fairness, he is better than Colin Baker. His costume has style, says John. That's real super doctor. Sorry, I keep forgetting he's using the other account because God love him, he forgot his passwords. Colin Baker's era is also also a solid, and McCoy, when his stories were good, they were really good. Yeah, McCoy's stories when they were good, they were really good. I agree with you. Fourth Doctor Tom Baker will always be number one for me, followed by second by the 12th Doctor Peter Capaldi. For me, says Retro Dicky. Yeah, I mean, look, as I said, we all have our own lists, and it'd be interesting to see all you guys put your lists up so I can read them out, because I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of different lists, and doctors will be in different places, and I think there'll be a lot of debate as well in the comment section, which is good and healthy. So yeah, get going with that. Get going with that, and get going with the best TV show. Your best comedy, I should say. Give us your top five out of those shows that were shown on that one show. And as I said, the links to the articles with those results, or with the rankings, I should say, are in the link description. So go and check them out, and then do your own list, and we'll read them out next week. And I look forward to. So get involved, folks. Get involved. Trying to get you a little bit more involved than usual. I think it'll be a good thing. Give us your list. Don't be shy. And remember, if you want me to not mention who's put out the list, you have to let me know in the comment section, because if I don't see it, I will read out your name, because people want to know who's actually given their list, because they'll probably be in the chat, and people will either agree or disagree with them, and that's what we want. Let's have a little bit of a debate. I think nice, healthy debate on stuff like this is good. And this is why I wanted to do something different tonight. I was just sitting here, as I said, I could have done some other stuff, and then when I was thinking about, you know what? I'll just go live. I have an idea. Seeing these two things on Twitter, and I said, you know what, let's have a little bit of fun with this. Get everybody to throw their lists up and see where we all differ. Um, and it'll be fun to see what everybody's personal favorites are, where they rank on their lists and stuff. So yeah, get going with that one. Without Patrick Troughton, we would have no show or current discussion, says Scott. I agree. 12 followed by 1, then 8, then 7, says unknown. As I said, get your list in the comment section and I'll read it out next week. And do your top 5 shows as well. That whole list that's in that. And as I said, the articles to those lists are in the link description. So check that out. But yeah, interesting one. It'll be, as I said, it's gonna be quite interesting to see uh how yous all vary. If any of yous actually come up with identical lists, that'll be actually jaw dropping. Let's see, be interesting. The show's popularity declined when Colin took over. Then the cancellation happened, says John. Uh, it's comedy. Is Life on Mars really a comedy though? As such, the list is there anyway, unknown. So check it out. A lot was going on behind the scenes that had little nothing to do with Colin. Yeah, that is true. That is true. He can't be held responsible for the stuff that was going on. And I'll never deny that. I just never liked his doctor. And I don't even like him now, to be quite honest with you. As soon as this current doctor was announced, he kind of, well, he showed what side of the debate he was on, whereas Peter Davison, he said his things, which I think still to this day hold true. I think the way he put it across was the right way to put it across, but nobody would listen to him. He foresaw all of this. But look how he was treated. He was hounded. And he left Twitter. As I said, guys, in the comment section, some of you are putting your numbers in the live chat. In the comment section, put it in the comment section, folks. We'll be doing it next week. So I don't know if the comment section is there right now. So you are in the live chat now. So see if you can go into the comment section and then leave your list there. As I said, we'll read them out next week. No point to putting them in the live comments because I won't read them out. It'll be next week. So in the comment section. Line of Duty is technically an ITV show. BBC have the rights to the show. It's ITV made through. Yeah, it's an ITV production. You are absolutely right there, Daniel. Thank you for actually pointing that out. But it is shown on BBC, so I suppose it's still it's on BBC. It's on the channel. I say some of those shows that we've even mentioned have probably been produced by other companies as well as BBC. So yeah, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It should be noted that Michael Grade's time at the BBC was actually very short, says Captain Robert April. He played it to draw on Hartnell, but it did not work, says John, or unknown, or not unknown, real super doctor. Peter Davison was the true Doctor Who fan that was screwed over by non-fans and shaved head, blue haircut, rat bags. God bless him for his devotion, says Scott. Scott has very strong feelings on that situation, and a lot of us did at the time. To see a doctor that we grew up with to be hounded off Twitter the way he was very shocking. but it was also heartbreaking to see this man has given a lot to the fandom. He gave us a doctor, and he has been very active through the fan cons and all of this other Comic Con stuff, and to be treated like that because he gave his opinion on why he thought taking away role models and how he thought the dynamic would be different, and it's all played out. He was right. Whether at the end of the day he was right. Um, But I've never liked Colin Baker's Doctor, even growing up. So, you know, yeah, I always found his Doctor arrogant and stuff like that. But then when I seen his comments then on Twitter about supporting Whitaker, changed my dear, and basically telling fans that they needed to get over it. You know, um, fair enough. It might have worked out for his benefit or whatever, but nah, it's never set well with me. Never set well with me. Uh, you know, you think someone that played the role would understand the role and understand this is wrong and the reasons why it was done, the reasons for why we got the gender swap, they were all done for the wrong reasons. They weren't done for the right reasons or the betterment of the show. And the fact that he supported that, I'd never be anything but nice to the man if we ever had a conversation on Twitter because he's active on Twitter. But at the end of the day, that rubbed me up the wrong way with him. If I already didn't like him, that made me not like him even more. Um, you know, you, do- at the end of the day, yes, he's entitled to his opinion, but the way he framed it, he kind of turned it back on Peter Davison, didn't he? And that's what I didn't like. I didn't like that reaction, you know. So yeah, it's never set well with me. Retro Dicky thinks that Colin Baker shot himself in the foot. Me thinks, well, well, I mean, we all seen that photograph of them in Cardiff. Um, so you know, it's always been speculated by some out there that they were going to be part of Doctor Who in some way. Um, a lot of us, even on this channel, we thought, and we've said it might be a documentary. 100 years of BBC. They're obviously going to be interviewing loads of different people about all the different TV shows that they've been on and stuff like that. And maybe that's why we see in that photograph. I don't think he has shot himself in the foot. I think he's done quite well. He's doing Big Finish as well, isn't he? So, I mean, he picked a side, but you know, fair enough, and he's entitled to do that. I just don't like his. Just didn't like his attitude. It was like Whitaker. She came in with an attitude, and then anybody that was supporting her then had an attitude. And it all rubs off each other and they all feed off each other and stuff like that. And he was very, you can support something, but don't be critical of fans if they're gonna have a problem with it. It's a franchise that's spanned over 50 years. You're not gonna please all fans. But unfortunately, you know, um there's a lot of people out there that just don't understand that or want to hear that, and you get all of this rhetoric. And yeah, it's never set right with me. But people will be who they are, and that's the end of it. But I think Peter Davison at the time when the announcement was made and he made these comments, I thought he was very brave because we'd already seen in the early days that anybody that criticised Jodie Whittaker was set upon. Um, and he spoke his mind, And as I said, everything that he said in that interview, and he wasn't mean about it, he was, in my opinion, he was actually very clear and very precise, and also at the same time was very sensitive that, of the situation. And I think he came across very well. He gave his point of view, what he thought. And I know for a fact, by the way, that he isn't the only doctor that actually feels that way, right? But he was the one that was brave enough to come out and say, he was asked a question on Doctor Who, he was asked a question about our casting. Obviously, he was going to respond. He gave his response and he was vilified for it. And instead of other doctors come out and support him, right? You had Colin Baker then, who basically, called out fans and kind of, had a slight dig at Davison over his comments. And, as I said, it's never set right with me. Yeah, he was. Of course, he was punished. Retro. I feel though, as he treated Peter Davison badly for his comments about a positive male role model. There's nothing wrong with positive male role models. By the way, a male role model doesn't necessarily have to be a role model just for boys, right? The Doctor was also a role model for girls. This is the thing that I have never understood about this whole rhetoric about this show, right? You look at years of before Jodie Whittaker was cast in the role, and you look at the Comic Cons, right? And you look at fans standing outside to see their favourite Doctor while they're filming, right? Was it all blokes, middle-aged men, teenage boys, young lads? Was it? No. There was a lot of girls there. There was a lot of women there. Right? Because the Doctor was also a role model for girls. Right? Yes. Let's be honest. Because he was male, okay, it's a strong male role model. We're not going to deny that. But to kind of make it out like Jodie Whittaker did, that now girls can actually have a role model in the Doctor, to kind of suggest that they never had a role model in the first place with Doctor Who, is absolutely ridiculous. You look at all of the women and all of the young fans out there, right? Their mothers and fathers dressing their kids up as their favourite Doctor, right? Dressing them up as Tom Bakers and their Matt Smiths and their David Tennants, right? So, is that not considered being a role model? This is what I've never understood about the rhetoric. They did the same with Star Trek and Star Wars and all this, right? There's strong female characters going through all of those franchises, but the problem is that the other side will make it out that there isn't, right? And that Doctor Who was only for men and for boys, and it excluded women. They say all this, and yet they should go back and look at the history of the show when it first started. There's a very important female involved in all of that, and she's worshipped by us Doctor Who fans out there, and that's Verity Lambert, right? There's also been other female directors and writers throughout the history of the show. This is all fake rhetoric. It's always been fake rhetoric, right? Doctor Who, as they say, hasn't been inclusive. That's what they'll say. It needs to be more inclusive. Doctor Who has always been inclusive, right? All of this is rubbish. Rubbish. And now what they've basically done is if they've replaced a role model for everybody and then just focused on a role model for girls because they've made it clear. They've made it clear that this doctor was going to relate to the female audience more. They made it clear, right? This is why they start coming out with space for all and the other tagline, you know, it's for everybody. All of this rubbish, right? What was the first thing they did? The glass seal, breaking the glass ceiling, right? That cringe-worthy video, breaking the glass ceiling, and then she go, whoops, whoops, right? That was telling you, females doctor for women only. So they look, they make the same mistakes again, then there's no hope for this show. But RTD is coming back. I do believe if anybody could save this show, it's him. We'll have to give him time to do what he needs to do. But you know, Doctor Who, which he did in 2005, was for everybody. And he must do that again and make it feel that it is for everybody. For the long-term fan, for the casual viewer, for new fans that come into the fandom, because that's what he did so good in 2005. Now, obviously, some of them have become absolute idiots and have supported and attacked fans like us for criticising the current era. But you can bring in new fans. You bring in an influx of new fans. You will get the casual viewer interested again. And you know, Doctor Who can't just survive with fans. That's the problem nowadays. You know, fans just can't. Not like it did in the old days. So you need that casual viewer coming in as well. And he'll do it. He'll do it. I believe he did it once in 2005. He's been away now for a while. And he's had a couple of successes. Well, he's had a lot of successes. But most recently, a couple of successes where he's won awards and his writing has been top notch. So, you know, again, I would probably argue he's a better writer than he was back in 2005. So we're getting prime RTD now. And that makes me excited for the future. Really does. So yeah. That's it, Renee. She doesn't have a personality. That's the biggest flop. That's down to Chris Chibnall. And maybe a bit part on Jodie Whittaker for not incorporating her own personality maybe into the role. Maybe there are bits of her personality in there, but when I seen her in Who Do You Think You Are? And I remember saying I actually did a video on it the next day because I was blown away. She was a completely different person. I actually liked that version of Jodie Whittaker that was on Who Do You Think You Are? I was like, holy moly, this woman is actually, you know, she's actually quite funny. So why isn't she funny in Doctor Who? And that's why I did the video. Why isn't she funny in Doctor Who when she was clearly funny there and she got very emotional as well over a bloke that she never knew. I thought she was gonna hammer this bloke being the feminist that she is. And at first it looked like, you know, she might. But then as she kept hearing his story and all, and then it ends up with her standing at his grave and she has a moment where she actually gets upset. And I was like, Jesus, she's actually showing human emotion, so she's not a robot. But it never really materialized on the show. So maybe it is a bit down to her and a bit down to Chris Chibnall or the directors for not giving her direction. But if she's such a talented actress, like a lot of people have claimed she is, well, she would have known this herself and took it upon herself to do it. So this is why I don't think she's a great actress. People can say what they want and people will have their opinions on her. But that's why I look at the end of the day, for me, she works well in shows like Broadchurch. You know, she's part of an ensemble cast, but she's not a leading lady. Not in my opinion. Not for a show like Doctor Who anyway. You know? And that's where I stand. I just don't see what other people see in her. She's not this terrific actress. Because if she was, trust me, even with the shit scripts that she got, if she was a great actress in any way, she would have elevated them and made those stories better like Peter Capaldi did when he got some bad scripts. Because he was a great actor. That's what they do. Great actors and actresses can elevate a mediocre script and turn it into something different because of their talent, their ability. She's been given some of the worst scripts, yes, but even her acting has made them worse. It hasn't improved them. So we'll see. We'll see what RTD does with the casting. But there can't be another miscast as Disaster Area said Jodie Whittaker was. I believe that myself. I do believe she was miscast. And at the end of the day, I don't blame her for taking the job because any actor or actress, if they're offered Doctor Who, would take it. So I'll never slam her for that. But again, a couple of things that we heard that she didn't do research. She didn't research the role at first. That Chibnall told her to play it, you know, basically read the lines off the fucking script sort of thing. She wasn't given any sort of direction. We spoke about that in the early days. She was basically told to read off a script, like, and do her own thing, and basically see what sticks. And then eventually then, she decided that she would look into the show. And she would do a bit of research. But it was too late. It was too late. Should have done that from day one. Even if your boss or who happens to be your friend says, listen, I want you to do your own thing on it, so I don't want you to research the role if you haven't watched the show before. That was bad advice, but any actor or actress worth their grain in salt would go against the director because it's happened in movies in the past. We've brought this up several times where a director would tell an actor or actress, don't read the source material because I want you to bring something new to the role, but then they'll go and do it anyway. And then the director will admit, yeah, well, it was the right thing to do because they gave one of their best performances and all of this stuff. That's what she should have done. But she didn't. She did it when it was too late. And then she said things as well. That stylist video, I'll never forget, where she mocked fans. And the other side could say that she was joking and she was laughing. You don't mock fans, right, to have a problem with our casting. It's as simple as that. Fans are entitled to their opinion. And if you still can't get that trees or thick skulls, well then, that's on news. She had no right to do what she did in that video. And mock fans for not liking our casting. Right? It's a democracy. Yeah? Fans can say whatever the hell they want once they're not being cruel or being abusive. Jodie would be a good companion as the Doctor, not so much. No, I disagree. I used to say that she'd make a better companion, but after seeing her acting in 3 series and 3 specials, isn't it? 3 specials now, no, 4 specials now, I can definitively say that Jodie Whittaker wouldn't even make a good companion. She wouldn't. She wouldn't make a good companion. She's not better than Karen Gillan. She's not better than Billie Piper. And remember, Billie Piper was only new to acting. And Billie Piper is a better actress. Pearl Mackie, she doesn't touch Pearl Mackie in any way. Donna Noble, she definitely doesn't beat Donna Noble. Martha Jones, she's not better than Martha Jones. I don't care what anybody says. She's not better than River Song. No, she would not make a good companion. That's my personal opinion. She wouldn't make. Sorry, Jodie Whittaker is not an actress for me that should be in sci-fi. In fairness, I know she did Attack the Block, that movie, but that was early in her career. But yeah, for me, she's not. No, I'm sorry. I don't think she's good enough to be even a companion. Now, some people might disagree with me on that one in the chat. That's fair enough. You're entitled to that. But I just don't see it. After seeing her now, and listen, this is what I base it off as well. If you look at Joe Martin's performance, right, as the fugitive doctor, in the few minutes that she was in this entire era, she made a show of Jodie Whittaker's acting ability, right? And even I think Joe Martin is not Doctor Material, right? Would Joe Martin make a great older companion? Absolutely. But Jodie Whittaker wouldn't, because she's worse. Because Jo Martin's a better actress than Jodie Whittaker. And another thing that Jo Martin actually has gone for her is Jo Martin understands Doctor Who because she is a fan. Now, I'm not saying necessarily a fan should get roles, but I do expect whoever's going to be on the show to do their research on the show that they're being on. So the fact that she has that knowledge, I think she'd make a great older companion, in fairness. But Jodie Whittaker is not companion material. No. No. Yeah, well, yeah, Leland is asking, I wonder if Whittaker will regenerate. Yes, so we have spoken about this on the channel months ago. And I did say there was a possibility that we wouldn't actually see Jodie Whittaker regenerate. Now, and again, this I haven't really said anything because, I don't brag. I never brag. I never have. When I do like it to stick it to the other side once in a while because they do irritate me. I'm not going to lie. But again, this is another rumor that we spoke about months ago and others on Twitter, and now it's being reported on. We did say there was a chance that we probably wouldn't see Jodie Whittaker actually regenerate into the next Doctor, right? And now that's being reported on. Just like the David Tennant stuff we reported on, that now is also being reported on. Now, it's only being reported on because it's on Gallifrey base now. But we reported on it months ago. We actually reported on it when RTD, the week that RTD was announced, actually. Because we were talking about possible returns and stuff. And then we got some information. And we put it out there. So this isn't news to us or anybody that follows the TARDIS Zone, because you have known about this for a long time. It's funny how some people come in, oh, did you see the story? Yeah, we already reported on it. So we're months ahead of everybody. And now these rumours, look, I'm called a liar all the time by the other side, and I don't have credible sources and all of this, and I make stuff up and all. But as I keep saying, whether it's a few weeks from now or a few months from now, I always say that it'll be reported on eventually. And what happens? It gets reported on eventually. So again, it's another thing that my sources have reported on, told me. I've shared the information with you guys. We knew about David Tennant. We knew the fact that there could be a possibility that we'll see the beginning of Jodie Whittaker's regeneration, but we won't actually see who she regenerates. We've spoken about this on this channel months ago. We've even had a guest on that was talking about DT, right? So we spoke about this already. This isn't news, but it's funny how the media are picking it up now all of a sudden and news. I suppose maybe I have to start going on Gallifrey base, going up as the TARDIS zone and throwing all this up on Gallifrey base before, like, because some muppet on Gallifrey base now is after getting the credit for that. But we spoke about it from months ago. Months ago. I hate the way that the media goes on. They've been posting rubbish for the last couple of months. They could have looked at my channel and got all this months ago. This could have been the scoop months ago. So, yeah, it's not news to us here in the TARDIS zone, Leland, is the point that I'm trying to make. It's a rumour that I have heard. It's a rumour that we've reported on. And, I think it was also on Reddit as well, if I'm correct. So if it's coming from us, it's coming from people on Twitter, it's coming from Gallifrey Base, and it's coming from Reddit as well. Well, then all I can say to you is, because I'm in this game a while now, what usually happens is if there's a rumor out there that starts getting reported on by multiple sources and different sources at that, from both sides of the argument, which is happening, well, then there's got to be something in those rumors. Or they've been talked about somewhere and it's being picked up, and that's how it's got out there. But at the end of the day, I would say if it's coming from multiple sources now at this stage, there could be something in it. So just as I said, this is why we're going to be doing the TARDIS Zone talks every Friday now, and I'm going to move contact to a different day, because over the next couple of weeks and months, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff coming out, I reckon, and we want to stay on top of it and give you an update every Friday and let you know what's actually going on in the fandom. We'll try sieve out the rubbish from, maybe some credible bits of information that might be floating out there. But yeah, it does kind of make me laugh and giggle in a way, and it does frustrate me. I'm not going to lie, because we do speak about this quite a lot, and we do break some stuff on this channel quite a lot. And it would be nice if once in a while it was recognised, but because it's the TARDIS zone, and because there's a perception out there, media more than likely wouldn't come anywhere near me, because people would have a fit. So they report on but the funny thing is Gallifrey base is a cesspit. It's been overthrown and overtaken by all of these bots and stuff. So it's kind of funny that they're, we'd be accused of being toxic, but they're actually reporting from a toxic platform. It's funny. It's funny. So yeah, look, I've gotten used to it now at this stage, but it's interesting times ahead. Interesting times ahead. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as I said, we'll be keeping on top of it. Obviously, the articles are starting to pick up now about Doctor Who. So obviously, I won't be. What I tend to do is this. There's a lot of crap articles out there, right? That'll just rehash all stuff. So what I try to do is try to find articles that basically that not many people have seen, sort of thing, and bring them to light, to trying to get maybe a different point of view or a different perspective on things. But also I try to pick out articles that I think would be credible as well, because there's a lot of Doctor Who rumor out there, and there will be a lot of articles on who possibly the next Doctor is and stuff like that. So we'll be going through all of those and trying to pick ones that I believe could have some credibility to them based on information that we've spoken about and reported about. So I kind of try and find an article or two, see if they link up with anything that we've reported on or others have reported on, and then, obviously bring those articles to you guys. It's all good publicity for RTD's return. Well, that's what I mean. At the end of the day, as I said, I'm going to support him. I'm going to back him. We'll see what he does. I will judge when I see his episodes of Doctor Who. We'll see what he brings us, and then we'll see if it's for me. As I said, I have made this promise. If it turns out that his Doctor Who isn't for me, I will be walking away. I won't be reporting on it anymore. There'll be no point. If the show is not for me anymore, it's not for me anymore. But I have been told that RTD's aim here is to make Doctor Who one of the most popular shows out there again. So I do believe that he'll use the same model that he used for 2005, obviously updated for today, but he will definitely attract fans. I do believe he will. Whether he can win them all over, that's another question, but he will bring new fans in and he'll bring the casual viewer back. So I'm willing to give him a go. I'm looking forward to the future. We'll see what happens. But as I said, if it turns out that his era is not for me, rather than complain about it like I have for this era, I'd be done. At the end of the day, I don't want to be sitting here during the next era coming on and complaining. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I wanted anyway. I felt like our voices weren't being heard or heard in the fandom. You guys also felt the same. I get criticised and BBC gets praised, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't exist if BBC had got Doctor Who right in the first place. I wouldn't have felt that I needed to come on to social media to voice my opinions and create a YouTube channel so I could give other fans that opportunity, because we were told basically, well, there is no conversation to have. Basically, if you don't like it, get out. And that's not what that's not what the show represents, not what the Doctor Who fandom represents. And I felt so strongly, and that's why I created my channel. But I will not continue down the same path with the RTD era. I just want good Doctor Who, and if it's not good or it's not what my cup of tea, I'll just move on and talk about shows that I actually want to talk about. And that's what I'm going to do, because there'd be no point. Listen, if I start that same stuff with RTD, if I don't like it, I'll become an echo chamber, and I'm not like some channels out there that just want to keep focusing on negativity. Because that's why we've been doing Cobra Kai. That's why we do Classic Who. Because most channels just focus on all of that. It's the negatives because it brings in the clicks and all. I'm not about that. Never have been. Yes, I have got strong opinions about Doctor Who, and I won't hide from them. But I never done it for clicks or anything like that. I did it because that's how I felt at the time. And I'll always be honest. But I'm not going through another 3 or 4 years, whatever how long the RTD era lasts for. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it if it's not my cup of tea anymore. If Doctor Who goes in another direction or whatever, then I'm done. There'll be no there would be no point. No point at all. So but I will say this, and I want to make this clear. Even all that said, I do believe that RTD can turn it around. I do believe that he can win fans over. I do believe that he can bring back the casual viewer. And I do believe that he can bring Doctor Who back. The ratings, listen, as I said, respectively now, if you look at ratings now, right, for RTD's era, as I said, between the 9-10 million mark, 8, 9, 10 million on the night that watch is very good. Overnights, then you'll add a few more to that, but that's respectable. The way TV has gone now, Doctor Who, I believe, on the RTD can do that, and I do believe anyway. All of these Jodie Whittaker fans have always bragged. Oh, she got 12 million viewers for her first episode, right? A lot of fans were curious, right? I can guarantee this. RTD's first, which is obviously this 60th special kicking off, isn't it? RTD is gonna listen. He's gonna obliterate those ratings, right? He'll obliterate those ratings, and he'll actually show up these ratings that all of these fans want to spin, say that they're great, right? He's gonna show them up, and then what will happen is then when his era comes back proper, right? Okay, well, it already got, whether it's a special or specials for the 60th, right? Say it's specials, right? That's when the conversation from the other side will change then. They will see the good ratings, right? And then they'll be scrambling to come up with excuses about the ratings for Whittaker's era because they can't let go, right? And this is what they'll say, and mark my words, this is what they will say. Well, the reason why Jodie Whittaker's ratings didn't do as well is because of all the racist, sexist bigots that were in the fandom. They're not my doctors. It was their fault that Doctor Who didn't do well, right? That'll be their story then. So they'll contradict themselves for the years that they defended this, and then they'll turn it around and they'll say it was all their fault because we didn't support the show because we're all sexist and we're all racist and we're all bigots and all of this other rubbish that they come out with, right? RTD is going to show up these ratings for what they truly are, and that'll be the excuse. They'll blame us, even though they've been spinning that it's the ratings are fine. As soon as it goes pear-shaped and RTD shows up those ratings, they'll come out with the excuse, they'll contradict themselves, and they'll say, okay, ratings didn't do well because of all the racists, not my doctors, and all the bigots and all the sexists, and that's the way they'll spin it. Mark my words, that's exactly what they're going to do when RTD fully takes over and we start seeing the ratings for his era, because I do believe he will do better. He will do better than Chris Chibnall. He will. And Pitbull Gaming 66 says, I shall enjoy drinking their salty tears. Of course. But they'll change the rhetoric pretty fast, mate, and blame all of us because, it's our fault, even though we sat down and we watched the series. Can't blame me for the failure of Doctor Who. I watched it. The failure of Doctor Who is down to Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker because they gave us some of the worst acting and the worst writing that we've ever seen in Doctor Who. That's why it failed. RTD is going to school them because we already know what his character development is like. We already know what his stories are like, right? We've got an era of his which is considered the golden era of New Who. And someone says to me on Twitter, which is fair enough, they're entitled to their opinion, I'm not having a go here, but they says that I give RTD way too much credit, that Moffat was the one that made Doctor Who popular in America. That might be the case, but RTD gave us the most consistent writing. Just because Stephen Moffat elevated the show in the States doesn't necessarily mean that he had the better writing. I don't think he did, to be quite honest with you. His stories were more, he was given more of a budget as well, actually. And, he upped it. He upped it for his era. It was more spectacular. But that doesn't necessarily mean that because he made it big in America that his writing was better. I disagree. And I don't think I give RTD too much credit. I think I give him the credit that he deserves. Because in 2005, Doctor Who had been away from TV for a long time, and a lot of Doctor Who fans were questioning whether the show would ever come back. And then it came back in 2005, and it hit the ground running, and RTD didn't look back. So, yeah, I give him the credit that he deserves, because without him, we wouldn't be here today. For New Who, I should say. Without him, we wouldn't be here today. So, it is down to him, and I believe he can pull the rabbit out of the hat a second time and do it. It's going to be a lot. I will say his job is more difficult this time, because there is a lot of fans out there that are disenfranchised. There's a lot of anger out there. The fandom's a mess. The franchise itself is a mess. The licensees are a mess. He has a big job, but if anybody can do it, it's RTD and his team at Bad Wolf Productions. So I'd say the fans have a bit of faith, because some of the stuff we've been hearing, and some of the stuff that we've been able to discuss on here, it sounds very exciting. And listen, I've been told that his 60th is going to be something like we've never seen before. It's going to be absolutely spectacular in every way, right? In every way. So it's not just CGI like they bang about with this era. Oh, wonderful SFX. Nobody gives a crap about the special effects, mate. All we want is great writing. But I heard that he's going to deliver the whole package here. And I well believe it, because he's delivered before. He can do it again. So have faith, guys. Have faith. I know some of you will probably have a little bit of faith. I have some faith left, says Rachel. Yeah. Hold on to that. Just let's see what happens now with the casting. Let's see them with all the other stuff as well. The logo, seeing the new TARDIS. That's what I'm excited about. Look, we've got some exciting things to come. I'm like a giddy school kid. This is what I wanted to feel these last few years, but couldn't. And maybe there were times where I should have just let it go and moved on. And a lot of people have said it to me over the years. Maybe you should just let go and move on. You'll have a much easier life. And that is true, but I had to stick to my convictions. I couldn't back down. I have too much love for this show. Yeah, it's a TV show, and people say it's just a TV show, but it's a TV show that had a huge impact on my life. And I just wanted to be in the best place possible, and I do believe that RTD can do that. So for fans out there that still have a little bit of doubt, not quite sure, all I'll say is wait until you see what the casting is, and the casting pleases you, then let's get behind this, because RTD is going to need as much support as possible, because he does have a tough job. And let's hope Chris Chibnall does fix that other rubbish, so RTD can actually get on with it, and then he'll have an easier job of winning the fans over, because there are some fans that won't come back unless that's retconned. So let's hope Chris Chibnall does do it, so RTD then can try win those fans over. Then hopefully with his casting, then we see his TARDIS interior, his logo, and all of that other stuff that we'd be looking forward to. And remember, obviously he'll be doing a lot of interviews, so we're going to keep on it. It's exciting times ahead, and I'm looking forward to it all. And fingers crossed, it's as successful as it was in 2005, because it's a long time coming. The show deserves another great era, in my opinion. It does. It's been around a long time, and I wouldn't like to see it go out this way, even though there were times where I said just cancel it, kill it dead. It's just, please put it out of its misery. But now that he's back, I'm hoping it can get its redemption and it goes back to being Saturday night primetime viewing for fans and the British public, the casual viewer. You know, there was a time where Doctor Who, when it was on top of its game, where even non-Doctor Who fans, the casual viewer, couldn't wait to tune in next week to see what happened. And then they slowly became fans of the show. So let's hope these are the dark days, as we have said that over these dark times. I know. So let's hope it is the end of the dark times and we can move into a brighter future. That's all we want. That's all we want. That's all I've ever wanted. People say, oh, all Noel wants to do is come on and rant and rave. And yeah, there were times where I did get emotionally invested a bit too much, probably. And I probably should have kept my mouth shut at times. But I'm very passionate about this show. And, you know, as I said, I expect it to be at a certain level and to be treated with a certain amount of respect. And it hasn't. And hopefully, and look, we're getting a man that did respect this franchise back in 2005. So that's why I'm actually not as worried as most fans are, because he took care of it the last time he was in charge. And I'm pretty sure he will do the same, and he'll have the best interest of this show at heart. He won't be interested in what we've got to say. Well, not interested, but if you know what I mean, he won't be, you know, listening to us. He won't be just listening to the other fans. He won't be pandering to people. He will just write the best Doctor Who that he can. And as we know, it will appeal to all because he is very clever. He is very progressive, but he has a clever way of doing it. And that's where I think he beats the rest of them anyway. He knows how to do it, and he knows how to make us like those characters as well at the same time, because the character development does be great. Even if it's a little bit of screen time, it's like as if you've known that character for years. That's how good he is. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to go and Cheryl got me some lovely rolls there. So I think I'm going to have a ham, cheese, lettuce. I don't know. I'm going to put shitload of stuff on a roll, a baguette, and I'm going to make a sandwich. You know, because I'm a bit of a weirdo. I like to throw a lot of stuff on sandwiches. Not as much as Cheryl now. She puts some weird crap on sandwiches, but there you go. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. But we'll be back for some Classic Who tomorrow. Then on Sunday, we got New Who. And as I said, we will be doing, we'll bring Contact back, but maybe midweek. I'm not sure. But remember, we have Cobra Kai. Well, not midweek, because we have Cobra Kai on Wednesdays. What? No, you will not be joining the Cobra Kai panel. Right, I'm just going to tell you something here. I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that she's brought it up now, I'm going to tell you a little story. Right, so Cheryl has decided to watch Cobra Kai now.
No. I wanted to watch it. You can watch it with me, so then I waited.
Right, so we were supposed to watch it together, but I'd forgotten about it, and I went ahead and I binge watched the whole lot. Cheryl was a bit pissy with me because I'd watched it without her. So eventually then she decided that she's watching it. So she's watching it, right? And everything is all right at first, and then I'm getting messages going through my phone, right? And then I watch an episode with her, and all I'm just going to say is I thought I was bad. She was pointing out little mistakes and stuff, and how scenes were unrealistic. And I had to remind Cheryl that Cobra Kai is supposed to be escapism, and it's not based on reality. And the fact is like it's a show about karate, so there has to be, even though some of the scenes in it are ridiculous, you know, it is a karate show. So, like, because she was saying the school fight, that wouldn't happen in real life. Nobody would allow that to happen the way it did in all of this. And there was one scene I actually brought up in the watch along, the scene with Johnny Lawrence, where his car gets burnt out. And then that happens at night time. But then the next episode, he turns up at Daniel's house and it's mid-afternoon or mid-morning. Like, how long? It wasn't explained, like, why nighttime did it take an ages there. So there was things like that. But that's the stupid stuff that she's pointing out. And I won't watch it with her now because she's ruining it. She's ruining it. And then the first thing she said to me after she watched the first couple of episodes was she came in to me, she goes, I'm actually surprised you like Cobra Kai. Seriously, man. So, yeah, she's in there now watching. Have you been watching it tonight, actually?
I just started, but Ted is restless. So
all right. So, yeah, so she's starting to watch now. She's watching season 3. She doesn't even. She doesn't even know what's coming. So that'll be interesting to see what she thinks. But I told her this show gets madder and madder, and you know, some of the situations, obviously, you know, it wouldn't happen in real life. But you've got to remember, it is escapism. It is a karate show, so they're gonna have scenes in it. You know, not everything can be like real life. But anyway, yeah, it's funny. It's funny because she'll send me while she's watching an episode, right? I'll look at my messenger because that's where she sends me messages, right? And I'll look, and there'll be a whole bunch of messages about how this scene doesn't make sense and how this is. So I've said to her, listen, keep your opinions to yourself. You're ruining this. You're ruining this show. No. Anyway, she is enjoying it though. She is enjoying it. So I just thought I put her out there. And she loved Ghostbusters Afterlife as well. But yeah, she's getting as bad as me, pointing out shit. That's what I used to do. Now she's doing it. It's funny though. It is. Look, all joking. It is. Well, I'm only bantering her, obviously. Like, you know, doesn't bother me as much. But seriously, woman, just relax and watch it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Folks. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Put your lists in the comment section, as I said. We'll read them out next week. A little bit more interaction there. Get your lists in and I'll read them out. Remember, if you don't want your name to be mentioned on the channel, while you write your list right at the end, you let me know if I have your permission to call your name out on the channel and get working on those 2 lists. We will see you over the weekend. Have a good one. Good night, folks. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.